I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Elias J. Dodger joins us. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Oh, I've got to do the streamer voice, haven't I? Hello, how you doing? My name's Elias J. Dodger. How you doing, Governor?
That right there has just spawned so many Americans to do very terrible British accents.
Oh yeah.
I said before, so many Americans try to do British accents, and they end up sounding like sad Australians.
Yeah, it's just, I think, I know a lot of Americans through streaming, and, every time me and, a few other British ones come in, it's just like, oh my god, Lois J. Dodger! British, isn't it? Tuesday!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tuesday. Well,
Tuesday.
The thing is that's really amazing to a lot of folks over here is that the accents over there are different depending on the city. And,
oh yeah, very much.
And someone in the northern part of England will sound much different than somebody in London, for crying out loud. And in different parts of London. And people in the U.S. are like, oh, well, I thought we were the only one that had different accents. No, everybody else does too. You know, it's
I'm within the sort of London sphere, and I know a few people that have Cockney accents as well, and it's rarer these days to get a Cockney accent, but when you notice it, it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely Cockney.
Yeah, that's when we start not being able to understand the English anymore over here.
Oh yeah.
And don't get me started on the Welsh.
Yeah.
It's just no.
When I was younger, actually, I got bullied a little bit, but I remember one of the things they bullied me for was sounding posh. I'll never understand it. It was just, yeah.
You sound rich.
I just read a lot of books.
It's not my fault. It's the author's fault. If those books weren't so good, I wouldn't have read them.
I read Shakespeare one time, okay?
Well, you got me beat. So why did you get started with VTubing stuff?
Oh, right. So I've been watching VTubers for years now. So I started with Kizuna Eye, and then fell down the Hololive rabbit hole. And I watched VTubers for ages, and then it wasn't until kind of recently with Aqua's graduation where I was watching it. I was on holiday, actually. I was trying to use whatever 4G I could get out there next to this pool in Greece, and I'm just watching it. And I think as I was watching it, something sort of happened where I was like, I want to do this at this point. I've watched it so much and thought, damn, that'll be so cool. And then I'm like, you know what? Yeah, screw it. Let's give it a go.
Was it easy for you to jump in, or did you have to? Was it a learning curve?
There was a bit of a learning curve, but I do drawing, so my initial sort of P&G model I'd made myself.
Right.
And I think I got into it quite easily, and I think a lot of people say when it comes to talking, I'm pretty good at that, and I think because I've watched so many VTubers over the years, I just kind of picked up on the habits of how to talk to yourself for 2 to 3 hours.
That's an old radio trick too.
Yeah, definitely.
When your song is run out as a DJ, you've got 2 minutes left until news. And it says, and it's time to say the ID in 75 different ways. About the hour. That does help if you do have the gift of interesting gab. It does help.
Yeah, I feel it. As a person, I'm pretty quiet actually, so I feel it's really funny when I stream and I'm just very loud, very talkative. But other people will deny that, because recently I've had a lot of people say that I'm very loud. I'm like, really? I don't think I'm that loud.
Well, that's just depending on how they are, I guess. But I think your voice is tremendous for this. I mean, really, it very, very projective and very. It shows immediately when I'm talking to you about this how much you enjoy it. It's.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So it's natural sounding. It's not anything that sounds forced. You can tell and people can tell mostly when somebody comes on and tries to sound like they're, oh, I'm Mr. Happy Guy today. Yeah, that doesn't always work.
Yeah.
And you've watched enough
Yeah,
now.
like
You know the difference. I mean,
yeah, I think like I think when I was like sort of designing like what character I want, I was thinking a lot about my voice as a factor in it. I'm like, my voice is particular. It's British, but it's like it's I can't describe it, but it's I think the way I described it is it doesn't sound super feminine.
mm,
And when I was designing Elias, I was like, okay, my voice doesn't sound the most feminine. How do I play into this? And I think that's sort of how the design came through.
yeah,
So I kind of worked with my voice to become a VTuber, really.
yeah. Well, I tell you, it's very natural sounding, and sometimes people talk about people having like announcer voices or anything like that, but it's not necessarily that sort of thing. It's if you have a unique voice and it stands out and it's pleasant to listen to, it does make a big difference.
Oh yeah,
And you don't have to be somebody who enunciates every word perfectly or anything like that. It's just something that people can settle into and enjoy immediately. You've got that type of voice.
yeah. Thank you. You've got a great voice as well.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoy my voice. I've had it for years.
Yeah.
Ever since about 16. And since
Yeah, because like, sorry, yeah, like it just makes me think because like I think for years I kind of like hated my voice. I think a lot of people have that. So it was interesting like coming into streaming and then just being like, wait, no, there's like a nice quality to it, definitely.
Oh, when you and like doing these now 500 some interviews plus, there's people. It amazes me when people think they don't have particularly good voices, when obviously they have the right skill for this. Well, not so much the skill, the instrument. I'll put it that way for this. And I don't know whether it's a question of confidence or just not being out there in front of people and talking. Or did you have any background with the microphone before you started?
Oh, okay. I did like acting a little bit. So I think like in terms of at least being in front of an audience, like I had a little bit of a background there. In regards to like voice work, like I did like minor voice acting stuff for some friends, but it wasn't anything like super big, really.
Yeah. Well, you just never know what type of voice people are looking for in those types of things. And I've always tell people, take your shot, make a tape. If you want to do it a little bit, people can do it at home now. You don't even have to leave if you got a good setup. And there's much more projects now out there for people. If you want to make a little mark in it, make your mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I think as well, like I do play up voices when I do stream, and I always talk really fondly when I played mouthwashing, because I did an old geezer voice for Swansea, and I think that's one of my like favorite little things to do is just like find a funny voice to play into. But I can't do accents. I can do funny voices. I can't do accents.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't do a voice twice. I could. I might be able to throw something on. I might be able to do an impression that sounds pretty good one time, but then I'll never find it again.
Yeah, I know what you mean, definitely.
Yeah. So if it was like a long acting thing where I had to repetitively do this voice in different times, there's no way. I'd be up, down, all over the place. I think that happened when the voice changed and I didn't hit any notes singing anymore. I haven't hit one on purpose since 1984. But if you have that instrument, that's one thing, and you have that instrument. But also, you got to have the personality to do that. And when you started, did you have the confidence that you had the personality to do it?
I didn't think I did initially, but I remember like when I debuted, which is technically lost media now because I didn't know how to like archive my VODs. When I first did my debut, I remember having an audio issue where the sound was only coming out of one earphone. And I remember like just playing that off really well, where I was just like, oh god, there's Scaff, whoops. And like I remember just thinking in that moment, like, I'm handling this way better than I thought I would, because like, I've been someone who's been panicky in the past, and I realized in that moment, like, oh, on the spot I can handle it. And I was really proud of myself. And I think, like, that personality has sort of come through of just, like, being able to handle the various different things that come with being a VTuber.
Oh, that's that type of agility and adaptability. It plays right into the name Dodger.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, the American baseball team, the Dodgers, come from trolley Dodgers, which were young people, sometimes news carriers at the time, that would have to, because there were so many trolleys in the city. It was just constant, and they had to dodge the trolley. They had to be adroit and nimble on their feet. So it really does kind of ironically play into that you're able to, that you found that you are able enough to handle those situations as they come up. So congratulations on synchronicity.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, honestly, the Dodger in my name came because J Dodger is short for Jammy Dodger, which is a biscuit in the UK. And then slightly, the Artful Dodger. Yeah, sure. Yes. I mean, it was Jammy Dodger, but yeah, sure, go on.
Exactly the same thing I said. Or at least it will be after I edit. No, I wouldn't do that. But the finding that you had that ability to handle the situation, come up and adapt, adopt, improve, that sort of thing. I wonder, did maybe you thought that you were panicking before, but you were actually doing that with other things?
Oh, I don't know. Like, there probably has been a case, but like, I think just over the years I've become like much more, I guess, adaptable. Because like back in the past I was like really panicky, full blown panic attacks and stuff like that. And like, I think my last one was like this Saturday, because I was like very late to try and get this one train, and I was really panicking, like, oh god, do I have to get the night bus?
Oh no.
Luckily things worked out, but again, yeah, I guess I've become more adaptable and just managing situations on the spot.
That reminds me of a song by The Jam, Down in the Tube Station at Midnight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No, you don't want to be down in the tube station at midnight. That's not what you want. And with that, have you kind of discovered that you have that ability in off of away from the internet as well? That it's something that maybe you didn't know you had before.
Oh yeah, because like I went for like a job interview for basically like a promotion at my work, and I didn't get it, unfortunately, but I remember in the interview just tapping into my streamer personality and just being like, I need the confidence. Let me just be Elias.
It's like if you say the magic word.
Yeah, like, I'm in front of my computer. I'm Elias J. Dodger. I'm a streamer. I can do this.
Well, I mean, it does give you that little bit of a shield, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, would you have been a live face streamer if you had the opportunity?
No. I think for like a variety of different reasons. Like, I think just for personal reasons and stuff. But I think one of the big things I've said, like on stream and stuff, is physically I look not a lot like Elias, and I'm pretty sure that like if people saw me as a face cam streamer, they'd be like, "Whoa, pretty lady!" I'm not against admitting I'm pretty, but I think Elias in that regard is again like a shield in a way, where like I can embody something that I feel is a bit more true, to an extent.
Yeah, I've kind of trying to compare it to, I don't know how it would compare it in British society, but over here it would be a difference between being in high school with a bunch of people that you've known for your entire life, and then switching to college. You're the same person, but you get to reinvent
yourself.
Yeah, and that the world is yours now, and people out there don't know that you spilled ice cream on yourself at halftime of a basketball game in front of 2,000 people. That sort of thing. You don't have any of that baggage. You get to start fresh, and you get to control your own persona. That's not the right word, but yeah, I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I technically did that twice, because I went to a university, to like college, the equivalent, university, to do this one course, and then like had a really bad time with like moving away from home and things.
Yeah.
And then I switched over to one that was local, and I had that moment again of like, I can reinvent myself. I can be this person. And I had a much better time, and I've made like a few friends that I've kept through it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And I'm very old in comparison to so many people out here. But I went to a high school reunion here fairly recently, and it was lifetimes between when I was in high school and now. And the difference between those people who I grew up with and the people that they are now are huge. It was nice getting to know them and find out what happened to have that kind of tabula rasa, that clean slate, is something that you don't get in real life very often.
Yeah, definitely.
And to be able to take advantage of that and with your voice and your personality alone, that's what people are going to associate you with, or judge you by. Yeah. So now that you've got this started and you've been going, now that you've got people who are coming in and watching your streams, has it gotten to you a little bit that people are really coming for you and your personality?
I don't think, honestly, being asked that question, I feel like it doesn't really hit sometimes. Just like mentally, like, oh yeah, they do. Like, I feel like half the time it's like my chat just, teasing me and all that. But like, yeah, I think it hasn't been something that's like set in that like, oh yeah, people like just regularly come and hang out in my chat or just pop in and say hello. It's like, it still feels like a foreign concept, I would say.
Yeah. It's for someone who hasn't done, you've done stage work before, as you said, but it is different because you don't get to see your audience really, other than the names coming up on the board. But you get to interact with them. They're slightly more anonymous than you are. And that's something that you may play into your favor because, hey, if somebody comes in and you don't get along with them, you don't have to see them at work the next day.
Yeah, pretty much.
you can go from there. So do you do some of your drawing on stream?
Yeah, I do. My last stream was drawing another VTuber I know, and it was pretty funny. They came in, and I was like really zoomed in on the drawing, and I zoomed out like, "Oh hi, I'm drawing you right now." Yeah.
There's no rights fees here. That's slightly different. So, have you always been somebody who liked to draw, or would you call yourself an artiste?
Yeah, like the thing was, like, I drew throughout my teens, I would say. I was one of those kids who was insistent, I have to learn manga, I have to learn anime, and then never taught myself, like, realism. So, and for, like, a while I kind of quit drawing, because I realized, like, oh god, I'm bad at this, so, like, I didn't know the fundamentals. But then, sort of coming to be Elias, I realized, I sort of picked up the pen again, and I was like, wait, I'm enjoying this again. Like, I enjoy drawing again, and the skills are still there. So yeah.
Was it a question of? Were you able to have the confidence enough to show what you were drawing to other folks, or was it for yourself?
I think it was a bit of both. I think like I've put things out there in the past, terrible things, just drawings just that weren't good. But I think like a part of it was for other people, and then a part of it was for myself. I tend to draw Elias a lot, so it's quite self-indulgent a lot of the time as well.
Well, that's fine. You're just defining the character. That's all. having fun.
I'm just such a cute character. It's like I've got to draw myself.
Well, I tell you, you talk about bad art. My art was so bad, I broke an AI with it. Actually,
Well,
that is something I tried to do. I put it up on. I made this just terrible, horrible. I mean, a 3-year-old could do better. Stick figure art, and I put it up on Twitter and said, "Choke on that."
yeah, like I remember like another VTuber I know, Beefy. I remember I was talking about my art and like my insecurities around it, and I remember he said something along the lines of like, "Hey, but you're not generating it with an AI," and I think that was like a really like affirming moment recently where I was just like, "Oh God, like I am doing this."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if we want something to be perfect, then we automatically want it to be artificial because it's not going to be perfect. There's if you take it with a microscope, you're going to find something that isn't. And if you're an artist, which I bet you are, you're never finished anyway. So
Yeah,
you're going to go back
definitely.
and tweak it. But even the best artists in museums, I imagine when they saw their paintings up on the wall, were like, oh, I could have, actually made a hand instead of stuck it behind them, that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody,
wasn't it like the sorry, yeah, wasn't it like the famous story of like Da Vinci never technically finished the Mona Lisa?
yeah, 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 absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, do artists ever finish?
I don't think so. I think I remember like I wrote a short story and it
Mm,
got published just in like a little like anthology thing.
mm,
And I remember looking at it again recently. I'm like, oh god, I would change so much about it. And I think that's like the idea of a finished work is like never the case. And I think, or at least like the idea of a finished artist is also never the case
mm,
because like you're always learning stuff.
yeah, yeah. You are, and then I imagine. First of all, I envy you getting the story published. I like
Thank you.
I've got like 12 of them bouncing in my head, and I can't seem to put them out on paper or anything. But the even with that, you get an idea later. Oh
Yeah,
well, I could have
definitely.
had them do this. Hmm.
Yeah, I think my I'm really glad that I got that published. I could literally see the little book up on the shelf up here. But honestly, it's like I think it's another big insecurity with my writing, particularly where I have all these ideas and I try and get them down, and then I'm like, oh, they're not working yet, and I really struggle to finish, particularly with my writing. My drawing less so, but my writing I do really struggle with it.
Mm. So this I'm going to add all things together and come up with a sum. What about putting it all together and drawing and writing a game?
Okay. Right, that's funny you mentioned that. Um, because my partner, fella, he does VTubing as well.
Hmm.
Um,
You
he
can.
has been like very slowly developing an independent game.
Ah.
It's like very slow,
Mhm.
and I have been working on it as like a writing assistant, really.
Mhm.
And it's a really cool concept, but right now keeping it hush hush because I think I think a lot of my like artist friends go through very similar things of having these really cool ideas, but just never knowing how to finish them or like put them out there or being like perfectionist about them. And I know he is particularly like perfectionist about this idea.
Well,
And I keep yeah, sorry, I keep telling him like just make them your OCs, just like put stuff out there,
yeah,
because they're cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, not too many people have thought of football playing penguins with lasers. I think that's a pretty good concept. I don't think too, but no, I have no idea what it is, obviously. But something like that, though, seems like that would be a very personal project too. So not only
Mm.
do you get the artist in somebody making you keep working on it, but also the stubborn pride gets involved too.
Yeah, I think another one of the ideas that I've had like bouncing around of like that could be a fun project to do. I think even including it into Elias's like here's things Elias has done. I thought of the idea of a visual novel that
Mm,
could be like a really interesting concept.
yes, yes.
And it's not something that I've like actually approached yet. There's like some other projects I bounce around with and stuff, but it was one that's been on my mind. I'm like, that could be interesting.
Oh, I think that would be right up your alley, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of my main things is just actually writing my lore at some point.
Well, that's a good way to get started, isn't it? I mean, you get a good practice then of creating a story that you already have the finish to, or the continuing finish to, and that'll get you started on having an idea of how to make it flow correctly, and because really with this you're kind of writing a script rather than a story.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's a lot of difference. Ask any college professor if you've ever tried to hand in a script instead of a essay and get all red marks all over it. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they don't like commas. They don't like commas. But when you are playing a game online or anywhere, does your experience with writing and art cause you to have a more critical eye toward that in the game?
Oh, definitely. So like I've not even just like my art and my writing, but like I've been a reader for a good while. Like I have my ups and downs where I read a lot or I don't read. But storytelling at its core is like a big passion of mine. And I've had times where I remember when I tried to play Eye of the Somnium Files, and I remember being like quite critical of its like humor, and I was just like, this humor isn't hitting for me. But then like playing Mouthwashing and being like, this is some of the best writing I've ever seen.
And that affects how you enjoy a game.
Yeah, absolutely. It affects how I enjoy everything. My family give me like hell for it, but I watch films, and I'm the sort of person who, in certain company, I do like to talk over a film, but it's often like either just, oh, I do that differently, or, oh, I love how they did that. So me and my partner, we're pretty good at just yapping over it and being like, wow, okay, that was awesome, or whatever. But my family hate it.
So to just give me an idea, what type of film would you watch for that? I mean, what is there a certain genre or anything?
So my two guilty pleasures, I would say, I love extreme horror and I love terrible films, like objectively bad films.
There are plenty of those.
So like with extreme horror, it's things like Come and See, Salo, like some of those films where it's like that's messed up, and I enjoy watching them and thinking about like, oh, how does like the extremity add to that, or like what is the meaning of it? Does it work?
Yeah.
I think my particular one, I thought about a Serbian film, and I was like, in that one, I felt like the extremity didn't work, but then in other ones, I think like, oh, it does work, it adds to it.
Yeah.
And I always, whenever I mention my love of like extreme horror, I think a lot of people raise their eyes. They're just like, "You watched that, really?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a difference between like extreme horror is one thing, extreme gruesome, bloody horror is something different. But it sounds like you're trying to make the distinction between that type of thing, whether it's extraneous or doesn't really add to the story, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because like I think I have like different classifications of horror, I would say. So there's like the horror films that are like your Saw, your Paranormal, things like that. I enjoy them on occasion. I would say like Saw, Terrifier are ones that I really like a lot. Then you have sort of like your A24 type horror films, which are like Nosferatu, The Lighthouse, Hereditary, like the Ari Aster stuffs and whatnot.
Right.
Which is where like I started dipping my toes into like more like stranger films and whatnot. And then you get like the ones where they're on the lists of like, these are crazy films. And I think like sometimes I can stomach them, sometimes I can't, but they're interesting intellectually, I would say.
Yeah.
But then like, as I sort of said, my other love is bad films. I love finding films that are just like, this sucks, and I would change everything about them, or like, or they're so bad they're good and you laugh about them. You know, The Room being like your famous example.
Oh, yeah. There's There's one film that I've seen a couple of times now, which just floors me that it ever got released, and it's called Doomsday Machine.
Oh, I've not heard of that
Oh
one.
my gosh, it's a science fiction film that got started in like 1964 and was finished in 1969.
Ooh.
Yeah, it the effects are so bad. I mean, I'm not going to spoil the whole thing because I hope you get a chance to watch it. But
Oh yeah, definitely.
there is nothing good about this film. The story is cobbled together, and the film quality is different. Uh, there's the shape of the spaceship changes. I mean,
I love that.
it's really just beyond amazing that somebody bought the unfinished film and added on scenes to finish it.
Yeah, I think recently me and Fella have been thinking a lot about the Disney live actions that have
Oh,
been coming out lately,
eek.
and just the litany of things with those. But we keep standing by this one point where like the live actions aren't great, but my god, Hunchback in like live action would be amazing.
Yeah, and that'd be
Like
the one they
that's
won't
the
do.
one film.
They're not doing that one.
Yeah, and that's what breaks my heart. Is like that's the one that will work,
Yeah,
and they're wasting the opportunity.
yeah. Somebody was making fun of the Lion King stuff, and it's like the Lion King has a animated, then a live action, then an animated live action, then a live action of the animated. It's like write
Yeah.
something different. We don't.
And it sucks because like I was thinking about like Lilo and Stitch lately, where like they butchered the ending of that film,
Mhm.
but you know people are still watching it and people still think it's like good. But it's like the original is right there. It's a
Mhm.
wonderful film.
Yeah. Well, some people haven't seen the original film, which is on them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was a film out years ago. Terry Gilliam, the Python, Monty Python's Terry Gilliam. He did a film called Brazil, and
Oh,
that was a fantastic film. But you had to see it in the theater. It is it'll take you down 25 different directions at once, and still make you laugh and make you think about things. It's 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 a madman's brilliance, is what it is.
mm.
By the time it's done,
Oh yeah.
and
I mean,
and
yeah, yeah.
there,
Sorry.
there is a finish in the movie theater, which makes sense. But in order to put it on television, they changed the entire ending
Ooh.
and made it a happy ending, which just destroys the whole film.
Yeah. God, that's so bad.
Like, why would you do that? It's a, but go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh yeah, no, I think like when you just said like Madman's genius, the first thing I thought of was David Lynch
Mm.
and like his works.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely like when I think of that, I think like oh yeah, definitely David Lynch.
Mm.
Because I watched Eraserhead pretty recently,
Mm.
and I no one else understands what I'm getting at when I describe it, but the baby in Eraserhead made me cry, and I have like a visceral maternal instinct to protect the baby in Eraserhead, and like the entire film I was watching it with just like sheer adoration of the baby in Eraserhead. I'm like, I love you, you're so cute.
That's some good writing there.
Yeah, like I think I just interpreted it as like a father with like a baby that the baby is innocent
Mm-hmm.
and he's like a detached like father figure and the baby
Mm-hmm.
is just wanting that affection, but he's just seeing this warped version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what got me in the end was like imagining it through that lens.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of films that I like to watch that have absolutely no plot whatsoever. I mean, I just
Oh,
want
yeah.
to see things blow up, okay? Or I want to see a comedy film that's just goofy. I went to see Transformers 2 with my stepdaughter because we didn't want to see Shakespeare. We wanted these things blow up.
Yeah.
And they did, which was fun. My favorite film is probably Marx Brothers Duck Soup. If you
Oh, I
can,
definitely heard that one.
oh, it's just plain zany nuts, and such wordplay. By the time you're done with it, I want to watch. I don't necessarily need to watch a film that somebody has critiqued for 8 hours, um, and parsed and all that stuff. I just want to watch a film that I enjoy.
Mm.
And sometimes the critics lose sight of that completely. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
no, I understand entirely. I think I was thinking about that with music lately.
mm,
Because like I think the music that I listen to like a lot of the metal that's kind of described as like one of the worst terms, but I get it entirely. Like office lady metal,
ah,
so like Sleep Token and stuff like that.
yeah,
And like I was thinking about how a lot of the critics were really not receptive to their latest album,
mm,
but then I was just like, but these critics a lot of the time, and even possibly myself to an extent, like you listen to so much or you watch so much that you kind of like forget why people fall in love with it in the first place,
right.
which is probably like where a lot of people may see like Sleep Token and think, oh, it's not that great or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but then someone else sees it as like, this is the best.
Oh, oh, I mean, wait till you get older and you discover bands that you didn't care about in the past, and suddenly you want to see them live and you can't because they're already disbanded. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, this was really good. Why did I hate it back then?
Yeah, I think I've been having that lately with rap because I grew up as like one of those kids who's like, oh, I don't listen to the pop charts, I listen to anime music. And then lately I've been doing more rap, and I'm like, oh, this is like interesting, it's fun.
Yeah.
And like I'm gradually opening up to like more different types of music.
Well, see, I went through a whole lot. I mean, I like just about. There are a few things I don't like about music, very few of them, but I'm not a big fan of the modern rap stuff. Now, the old school stuff, yeah, that I'm good with that because there was like really music involved with it instead of just tick
Yeah.
tick tick that type of thing. But I mean, that's what makes that's what makes a poker hand. Everybody's got a different card,
Mm.
and it's that has to play too into your streaming, doesn't it? That whatever you do isn't going to necessarily please everybody, and it's not as if it's going to be your thing. Maybe some people tune in and they tune out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like I notice it with my fighting game streams sometimes where a lot of people like fighting game streams, but I think it's definitely hard to get people on board if they're not into fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when like everyone's probably watching your big fighting game streamers, your Sajams, your Brawl Pros, your Maxes, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the end of the day, I think if people don't stick around, that's fine. I think like you just have to thoroughly enjoy what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've seen like VTubers play games where it's just like I have no idea what they're doing, but I just respect that they love it so much that they're like even if like people don't stick around, they're still just enjoying themselves.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the personality that brings them back a lot of the times.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like the old radio DJs used to do. Plus, I will watch some of these card like the Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic the Gathering stuff and all that online. I have no idea how they work, but I'm interested in the strategy involved.
Fella, my partner, he's really into that sort of stuff. Not like Magic, I would say, but like he likes Yu-Gi-Oh, and lately he's been into this game called Bazaar, and like he'll just tell me like, oh, I've got this build and it's like this and that, and I don't understand it, but I love that he loves it.
And again, it comes back to something we mentioned earlier. If you're in there and you're enjoying yourself, and you can convey that to the audience that you're enjoying yourself, they will be drawn in with you. And
absolutely.
And again, it goes back to the personality. You've got that type of personality and voice that's very easy to stay with and want to listen to for a long period of time and want to talk for a long time with. And I think that's going to be really good for you here in the future. I think that it's just going to get more and more. And what are you going to do when you get that successful? Have you got any big plans?
I think firstly I'd probably be a bit panicked, like, oh god, it's happening, what? I guess like if I was to, grow more like successful and stuff, I think I don't know what I would do. I think I'd still be me. I think one of my main goals in regards to feeling like I've made it is honestly reaching a really good ranking Street Fighter 6. That's like a really big goal of mine for some reason.
Well, I mean, everybody's got to have goals, right?
Yeah, like I want to be so committed to my Street Fighter 6 husband, Luke Sullivan. I have to plug him. But like I just reach a really good rank and I'm like, yeah, I'm proving it. I don't care what happens in like the patches. He's my boy.
Are you pleased for where you are now, and are you surprised at where you are now?
Oh yeah, like I think I'm pretty shocked at like how far I've come already. I think like I've only been streaming under a year actually. It's not even been a year. But I think it kind of just happened because like I think luck kind of hit me a lot of the way, and like, I kind of made certain connections that helped me at other connections and whatnot. So I've like got a nice little like community of like other streamers and like other audiences and whatnot.
Cool.
But yeah, like I think it's. I would honestly say I don't think it's hit for me. I think it's a lot of stuff that's like, oh, I didn't even expect it, you know.
Well, I mean that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean everybody needs the good breaks now and again, but then you got to take advantage of it, and I think that you're poised to do that, and you've got a really good outlook to it, and I see nothing but ups for you right now.
Thank you.
As far as that goes, just a pleasure to talk with you, and I thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, and hopefully we can get you on again sometime soon and talk more about the adventures of the 1920s writer.
Yes, absolutely, Gavna.
I'm not going to try and go do that. Actually, I'm not going to try to insult you that way.
Oh, don't worry. Everyone insults me about it. It's fine.
I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. But thank you so much for coming. We're going to have all the links that we've been able to get in the description for this video, and please check out what Elias has going on, because as you've heard, just a pleasure to talk to, and obviously enjoying themselves, and will bring you along for the ride. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.